we're standing in the very location where Jesus himself, God in the flesh, stood somewhere in this vicinity with this very lake. They gathered around and Jesus opened his mouth and he began to teach. We're not here just as tourists. Tourism isn't our thing for tourism's sake. We're like theological tourists, story tourists, narrative tourists. We're interested not just in geography, we're interested in the stories that unfolded here, the leading of God down through history.
It was really important to Ty and myself and the rest of the team that it be a spiritual experience, an encounter with God in the very places that are so significant to us in both the Old and the New Testaments.
The whole biblical story is just coming to life. They're seeing things from a new perspective because as we tell the story along the way, they're seeing, okay, so this is where it happened. This is the kind of terrain. These are the kinds of things that were happening at that time in history when God was interacting with his people. When we see God interacting on the pages of Scripture, we're reading it. Well, that's important, it's brilliant, it's amazing. But when you read the Scriptures right here where it happened, you can literally look around yourself and you can see, okay, so what I'm reading here happened here. We're going through the journey of the Christian narrative and we're discovering the truths that happened right here in this part of the world. And we are being enlightened in such a remarkable way because the surroundings are helping tell the story as we preach the message right here in Israel.
The point of the location is not just the location itself. The location is a way to facilitate a deeper understanding of Scripture and a more profound connection with God. That's the goal.
Our goal here is to teach those who are with us on this tour what God is like. How does God think and feel and behave? What kind of God is God? God is Hesed. God is love. God is a God of faithful, covenantal love. And over again, we are discovering this from every different conceivable angle through the narrative of Scripture that happened right here in this part of the world.
And so, is it wonderful? Is it fun? Is it enjoyable? Yes, it's all of those things. It's entertaining, you could say, but it's more than entertainment. We see this as an opportunity to meet with God in the very same places that God met with His people anciently, whether in the New or the Old Testaments.
As a pastor, coming here has been incredible because we talk about these places our whole lives, our ministries, and to be able to actually see where things happened, it's incredible.
I don't believe God is, relegated to any specific location, but to be in these locations is certainly surreal and gives good perspective.
It's a paradigm shift of history, paradigm shift of cultures, paradigm shift of how I look at the world, but most of all, it's a paradigm shift of how I view God, I view the Old Testament, the New Testament. It really makes it real.
His life and ministry is all about reflecting and revealing the truth about who God is and what He is like.
We got a chance to start from the Old Testament, go through to the New Testament, and really focus on the gospel message. So for me, really, this has just brought everything to life in a whole different way.
In the same places where these authors wrote these stories, God is inviting me and is writing a part of my story here.